We have a new United States champion now crowned, Trevor. Shinsuke Nakamura, the man who we were talking about just last week, being ruined by WWE. Looks like he's getting a bit of a second lease on life. There we go. Shinsuke Nakamura defeating LA Knight, to become the next WWE United States champion. Thoughts on him getting the win overnight? What do you think this does for LA Knight? What do you think this does for Nakamura? Does this elevate him to like not a main event level, but like a more important level than he was at?
Here's the thing. I was just having this conversation with someone recently. LA Knight, in my opinion, should have had the belt a lot longer. I think when you have a guy like that, you should put a belt on him. I mean, his title defenses were fun. I can't say they weren't. A lot of them were fun. His open challenges, they were fun. But it was one of those things where you're like, he's kind of getting stagnant a little bit. We need something, more of a test for him, I guess. And the first test you put in front of him, Shinsuke Nakamura, you take it from him. Even though, like we said last week, if this was almost a given, it had to be given to Shinsuke Nakamura.
It had to.
Like, it had to. At this point, you owe him a bone at this point.
You owe him more than a bone. You owe him the whole damn chicken, bro.
And the biscuits. And the biscuits.
Turkey.
And the
Give that man the whole damn turkey, bro. Like,
because everything we talked about last week, everything they've done with this man, which is absolute nothing. He had a chance to win the championship. It was a stale match, and he didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's had time over time. Didn't he have a match against Jinder Mahal where he could have won the belt too?
Yep. And Jinder hindered the hell out of him.
He's in himself, apparently.
Who's been world champion and who hasn't in that scenario?
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, as they say. But like, it's a shame that it had to be like that because of the fact that you have like knocked LA Knight out of momentum many, 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 many times. Many times. This is not the first time. Now, don't get me wrong. LA Knight is popular enough where he probably can be without the belt. I mean, he's one of those stars that probably doesn't need a belt. Mm-hmm. But it does help his recognition. And it does help his career. They need to put a belt on that man. And I mean, he's still one of the most popular wrestlers you have. Even with Jey Uso. Even with the original OTC. Like, you still get just the biggest pop from LA Knight coming out as you do those two guys. And like I know, I think Jey Uso got a bigger pop than Roman Reigns did.
I mean, there were not that many pops to be heard at Survivor Series, to be honest.
No, there weren't. But, like, you get what I'm saying. But, like, I think that LA Knight was done a disservice. But, again, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree in this. Like, I think in the same way as, like, the New Day were kind of stagnant, I think LA Knight as United States champion was just kind of like, all right, he won a belt. That's great. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing with it? He's just coming out doing his shtick, which is fine. And it's like a larger problem I have with WWE. It just seems like, like you get the belt or you win the match, and it's just like, all right, we're going to come out and do the same shtick. Yeah. And it's a show. And again, that's, some people enjoy that, but it's like the way that WWE kind of does things, right? They are bigger. They're looking for that cultural impact. They're a touring brand, and that's what they do. I think that it's just one of those things where LA Knight is like, all right, we're kind of past the point where he needs the belt, and I think he's past the point where the belt needs him, and it's just more interesting in that United States Championship picture to have Nakamura in there. It helps Nakamura. It creates fresh matchups, and it doesn't it doesn't kind of hinder the that whole title picture and like who can face who, and it opens LA Knight up to have potentially more feuds and maybe better feuds. You don't know. So I look at it from that perspective, like understood, heard all that stuff about like, you know, Knight being needing the belt or whatever. But I also feel like, you know, there's a part of me that's just, I think he kind of outgrew it and they outgrew him, and it's just time to move on.
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, because like I said it from the get-go, I think he's bigger than the USA title.
Yeah.
I think he's bigger than the US title. I honestly think he's better than the Continental title. I think he needs honestly a world belt. He needs a belt of significance. Like I think he needs a belt. Hell, if you want to do what you did with like Dolph Ziggler and put him in NXT and get him win the belt off what's his name, whatever you do, but he needs
Oh,
a
you know
belt
the
of
discourse that's going to be around WWE if they send that man to NXT. LA Knight jobbed out to NXT, been cooked.
been cooked. But no, like he deserves some type of. I wouldn't mind seeing him go against Gunther for the belt. I wouldn't.
That would be a good
I
match.
think it would be. It would be a great match. I think he has gotten to the point where he needs to go for a bigger title. Honestly, I at this point he might even help Cody Rhodes' title run.
That is what. Oh, look. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just telling you right now that is what is not happening. Like that.
Not going to. It is absolutely not going to. But
What WWE
you know,
is
like
not going to do. Like,
you know, like I know, Cody Rhodes' title run needs resuscitation.
man, it sucks though because I love Cody.
I do, but the thing is, it's not his fault.
Atrocious.
It's not his fault. It's not really his
Atrocious
fault.
booking, man. Like, can we